last week to everyone. A few additions of hiring coaches were added.
Okay.
This were recently hired.
Okay.
Or be recommended to be hired.
Okay, do we have a motion? Brenda was first.
Make a motion to approve the meeting agenda with the additions.
Okay, motion by Brenda.
I'll second.
Second by Stacy. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same. Agenda carries. Opportunity for visitors to address the board. Looks like we're good on that end. So we have some acknowledgements here. We have summer programming staff, which includes summer rec coordinator and coaches, summer school teachers and paraprofessionals, and summer special education transportation. Mr. Clark, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just thank you to all the staff and that helped out with programming. If it was activities or academic programming, we appreciate their time and their effort over the summertime. And we still have a few items going on here, so we'll play in that. So it's good.
Anything else? Okay, we'll move on to the finance director, Mr. Martinez. Got a report for us?
I do. Just get anything to fire up for us. I'm gonna kick you out and real quick. All right, good morning, everyone. We are at the end of our fiscal year. So June 30th is when our fiscal year ends. Here is budget to actual. We projected in our operating budget that we were going to get close to $15.9 million in total revenue. That includes the 4 major funding sources that we received. You can see that at the end of the fiscal year, we received 15.5. Okay. The difference is what the state hasn't paid us and goes into receivables. So now in our accounting books, we go into cleanup period. So we have a month 13 that nobody sees, and that's literally where I do the majority of the fiscal year cleanup with the auditors. So between now and December, when we present the fiscal audit to you guys, we do all this cleanup. This is the raw data that I extracted from our accounting system, but know that between now and December, when we engage audit, a lot will change. Okay. Similar concept for expenditures. We budgeted for 16.3, and we ended up with $16.7 million. Some of the changes, just high level when I dive into it. Some of it were with building and grounds, with the price of utilities going up, in addition to increase in some special ed expenditures. And there were some expenses that we recognized in this year that should have been next year, but again, a lot of that cleanup happens between now and December with the auditors. But this is the raw data that we just extracted. So with everything, we're about at 102%. Like I said, all of this will change. Okay? All of this will change. This is where the majority of our cleanup starts for the audit engagement. Okay? But at least it gives us an idea of where we're going to end based on everything, all the factors that happened during the fiscal year. Okay? Any questions regarding the budget to actual? Again, this is everything that happened in our accounting system in the fiscal year without making any adjustments. All right. Treasurer's report. Again, end of the fiscal calendar. We started the month with $5.2 million in our investment account. We received $731,000 in aid in addition to federal revenue. We ended our investment account just at $6 million. In our cash account, in our checking account, we started with $1.9 million. We had $85,000 in deposits, $729,000 in accounts payable, and then we had total payroll of just over $500,000 for total cash on hand of $810,000. The reason why we have such a high influx in our checking account right now is because if you guys recall, in the previous month we've received our levy. So the second half of our levy gets deposited from the counties into our checking account. So this is why we carry such a high value during this month in our checking account. Keynote to kind of recognize, but also the month of July and part of August, the state does not pay the school district. So for the next 45 days, it's practically a dry period until the state gets going with the new fiscal year, with all the new ADM projections before they start paying districts. So it's always good to have good cash on hand, both in your investment account and in your checking account at all times during this dry period. Total cash on hand at the end of the fiscal year were $6.8 million. Very good place to be in. Then we move on to the second page of the treasurer's report. Again, this is the journal entries that we do. We simply did a journal entry to recognize some expenditures that were miscoded. So other than that, nothing very serious. The last of the report is always payables. If you guys have any questions on any of the payables, please don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll be more than happy to share documentation for it. A couple of things to note in the treasurer's report. Payroll is a little bit higher than what we normally do in every other month. That is because we paid all of our spring coaches in addition to stipends for any personnel that does additional duties throughout the year. And it's also what we call the pay-up month. So anybody that wants to cash in personal days or vacation days, we take that into account in the last payroll cycle. So that is why that is a little bit higher than normal. Couple of things that are in the board agenda that we will want you guys to approve today. They're in the consent pieces. The first one is the renewal with MSBA. It's in our consent items, but just MSBA is a great organization, great resources both for the board and for administration, so it's a no-brainer that we'll continue that membership with them. MREA renewal, again, it's in the consent items. It's a renewal piece. This is a group that helps advocate for us for any legislative changes. Great resource to have as well. Then we have the audit engagement letter. This is simply the first introductory phase with the auditor saying, hey, we want to be your accountants as we prepare for the audit. We've been in partnership with them for over 20 years, and I think we're going to continue that. They're a great audit firm, a great accounting firm for me. In terms of resources, we have a great relationship with them. They know the district. And then the last one, Lakes Country Service Cooperative Member Agreement. This is us just continuing to belong to the Lakes Country Service Co-op. Great partnership we have with them. Very good resources for us as well. So we'll just continue to renew the membership with them. They give us pretty good services whenever we need to. Then we'll move on to the business items, which we have one piece, which is the designations that I'll go over in detail. The finance committee meeting met last week, and then we went through the majority of designations. I would say we had a phenomenal conversation regarding a lot of the items, but I'll cover and I'll share some content behind in terms of the conversations, where the logic comes from, and I know we received a few board questions that I'll address as to kind of go through the designation piece. The first part of the designation is pretty simple. It's a required piece that gives us as administration the right to be fiscal agents on behalf of the school district. So nothing really changes here. Pretty standard from the previous year. We've had no turnover in staff, so we'll continue to have that as we do. Yeah, other than that, everything is pretty good. Yeah, our checking account remains with Minnesota National Bank, and then Wells Fargo is who manages our debt. That's why we designate Wells Fargo as well. And then Minnesota Liquid Asset Account Fund, that is where we have our investment account. So when MDE pays us, it goes directly into our investment account. They capitalize on our aid that gets deposited into that bucket. So that's why we have them there. Then I'll keep just moving down. Board meetings, we decided to kind of keep as the same. We designated Mr. Korf and the board chair to be the ones to discuss any legal matters with the attorney. In our case, Pemberton Law is our legal counsel, and Mr. Korf and board chair are the people directed to speak directly in any legal matters with that attorney at hand. Rate for driver educations, we decided to keep it the same at $300 as we do, and $350 for non-student from resident students from our district. I believe we're still getting some students that spill over from Barnesville. I don't think the Barnesville School District still has a driver ed teacher, so they come over to us, which is a good service for us to have, some revenue to collect on that piece. Then we go into the student activity fees. Student activity fees, there's two pieces to it, and this was the major discussion that we had with our finance committee, because Mr. Larson asked, what can we do to increase admissions, increase participations? Because there's two things that we collect on in terms of activities. We collect on admissions, and then we collect on the participation fee for students to participate in a sport or an activity. And we decided to keep everything as is. And the reason for it is because looking at other districts, we're still the lowest cost to our student body. In terms of the activity sports fee, we're also one of the lowest in the area. And one of the notes that we wanted to highlight is we incentivize families to continue to turn in the school benefits form, because that entire household receives a free pass, not just the parents, but also the students. So we do give our students and our families the access to come in and enjoys the games free at admission, as long as they return that lunch form. Okay? And that has been part of our marketing. That has been part of our marketing campaign to recollect as much revenue as we want to, or as much revenue as we can. And I'm trying to pull up a quick document. Okay. And here is just just an idea in terms of how much is it that we collect. So just to kind of give you guys an idea in terms of admissions, all of the activities in fiscal year 23 received about $50,000. Okay, these are everything from all of our games that we sponsored. This is how much revenue we brought in. Activity fees, this is the amount that students pay to be able to participate. This is how much dollar value they brought in. So fiscal year 23, they brought about 70,000, and here is the raw numbers in fiscal year 24. Okay, notice that there is a significant drop, and it's as expected. This is the year that we introduced the free school meal programs, and this is our marketing campaign where we incentivize families to say, hey, turn in that lunch application, we'll give the entire household a activity, and we'll try to qualify as many people as we can into that free and reduced category if they meet those standards. So there's a dip in revenue as expected. On the back end, we did maintain our level of free and reduced percentage at about just a little over the 50% mark to really give us a true representation of our school district. And in the end, it helped us because we collect more aid in that basic skills and compensatory bucket. Okay, where does this revenue go? It goes to the entire bottom line of our sports and activities. So the total expenditure for our activities for fiscal year 24, this is from paying coaches, transportation, everything to run all of our activities was just a little over $500,000, okay? So you can see that this particular piece gets assigned to the Department of Activities, and when we close our fiscal year, it just chips away at the entire cost. So we want to continue from your finance director. I think if we continue the same practice that we do today, from incentivizing families to turn in that lunch application, in return we'll give them a free activity pass, and hopefully we get them to qualify for free and reduce. That will reduce or practically zero out their activity fee is the best thing that we can do, because we also need some accountability. It helps us collect revenue, okay? So I want to tie that concept that yes, we want families to come into our activities at no cost, but please return it. Please return it because it will help us in the end generate more revenue that we can plug into our educational system and will benefit all the families in our district. Any questions regarding activity fee revenue, where the money goes, or anything like that? Again, please, we want to be as transparent as possible, but in the grand scheme of things, it's very little compared to the amount of investments that we actually put into our activities. Couple of other things, just wanted to highlight the piece regarding our fund balance, because I don't wanna put any misconceptions out there in terms of what really is into our fund balance. I've been asked this before. I know that when I give you guys the general presentation or the overall budget piece and I show you guys this graph, there's a lot of pieces behind it. So our fund balance is not at 40%. Our fund balance in fiscal year audit, if you guys were here in the December board meeting, they go through all the pieces and they give you the true fund balance number from a third-party CPA firm. So here's where our fund balance ended, which was at about 33.32%, right? But I give you guys the entire general fund. So remember that in our accounting books, we have seven books, and they're laid out like this. Okay? Fiscal year 23, that's audited, and here's fiscal year 24, that's projected. This is the year that we just ended, and this is the year that I'm starting to engage with Abe Bailey, okay? But we have all these different accounting books, and each one is accounted for differently. So the 33% fund balance represent this figure that we ended here, okay? These $4 million are not just free money to spend, okay? There is a designated designation piece that it even takes into a deeper bucket, which we call categorical funding, which means that we receive that money, but part of that money is already earmarked for another purpose. Here are those $4 million, or that 33%, and here is all the different reserve buckets based on the allocation of that. So the true fund balance that we actually have in hand is about 31%, which is about $3.8 million. That's the unassigned, that's the rainy day fund. And then you can see the others in terms of what that money is intended for and can be spent on. Here are the numbers for fiscal year 24. Here is the revenue that we have received in total. Here's all the expenditures, okay? And then at the end, I'm giving you guys the projection in terms of where each bucket will land. So one thing to note is that with some of the expenditures and the revenue recognitions, as we start to clean up the year, we go from 31% to 23% fund balance. Again, that's going to change based on once we engage audit, but it gives you guys an idea of where we are fiscally with the school district. And remember that part of that dip in our fund balance has to do with the building construction of the multi-use facilities, because we had to use unassigned funds for that particular project. You can see how all the other buckets are starting to grow. Primarily, it's this basic skills one, and that has to do with legislative changes because we're now receiving more money, more aid. The funding formula for our EL students, for our free and reduced students, changing the last biennium. So that ties us back to those activity passes, right? We need as a district something to continue to incentivize families to say, hey, turn in that form, we'll give you that free admission, hopefully we qualify you for free and reduced, because at the end, it gives us more of that compensatory revenue. So spider web, in terms of, okay, what do we want to do and all this stuff, but at least it gives us an idea of where we're going to end our fund balance. Our policy is that we need to stay between 22% to 25%. So even with raw numbers, we're in that 23%, which we're still within policy features. Okay. Those were the designation pieces. The last piece in the designations has to do with, I'll cover the meals. Meals are going to remain the same in terms for student pricing. With universal meal programs, we provide one hot meal, one breakfast, one lunch to all students, regardless of their lunch status. Okay. This continues to be a big worry because families see it as, you know what, I'm not going to turn that application in. We get a meal no matter what. But this is where our marketing team and our admin team comes in. It's like, we need something to incentivize families to keep turning that application, because in the end it gives us more of that compensatory revenue. Then we go into the board compensations. This was a topic that we spent, I kid you not, about an hour discussing with the board, or not the board, with the finance committee. Some of the factors that we looked into was what the surrounding districts were doing, in addition to really hearing what our finance committee members had to say. We had one finance committee member said that they wanted to keep it at 75. They didn't believe that doing the public service required an additional fee, so we kind of took that into consideration. Also knowing that the amount of meetings that directors serve, in addition to, we cut down pretty significantly in terms of the meeting. So that's why they decided to keep at 75 for the amount of time and effort, in addition to what other districts in the area were paying for meetings, and we're right on the ballpark. We increased the board chair by $100, and then we introduced the vice chair stipend and the clerk stipend. And again, the concept here was the amount of time and effort being put in. So, we looked at all the surrounding districts, and the $600 stipend for the chair was very comparable to other districts. We decided to introduce the stipend to the vice chair, and again, that has to do with time and effort, because a lot of the times when we have district matters, a lot of the times we have our chair and our board chair kind of come in to help out, and our clerk is pretty busy with practically everything else, from authorizing signatures and everything. So that is why we kind of gave it those new recommendations. Any questions regarding any of the amounts? Again, we want to share with you guys kind of the insight that was discussed at the finance meeting.
If it's something the board wants to adjust the stipend, we discussed that, and I was a proponent for looking at increasing it. And then the next slide showed us what our insurance for property and casualty and all this went up considerably, like every other district around. It kind of lost its luster, so that's my personal opinion on it.
Alrighty, that concludes the treasurer's report. Thank you all.
So I have a question on consent items. I know the last one for Lakes Country membership agreement. So there might be two of us that should abstain for that, but
Yeah.
we don't have a quorum, so
You don't need one,
we don't need that.
not for vote.
Oh, okay,
You're just
so,
abstaining.
okay. So then that works, so we don't need to pull that one out. Okay.
Unless you wanna move it down to business items. So it's just the one.
We do that. So then MSBA, I'm just a board member there, but or part of that, but that's something I should abstain on too, MSBA.
Probably.
Okay.
I would say just the
So if we move those two down to business items? Or how do we pull that?
To make a motion.
Make a motion?
Change the agenda.
Okay. So I'll make that motion. I can make a motion, go ahead. I'm gonna make a motion to move item F and item K to business items. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Stacy. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of moving that to business items, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Martinez? Okay, we'll move on to Mr. Corp.
Okay, I'll start off with summer programming update. Summer rec for our elementary age students is now complete. We do have summer play this week and next week, 2 different plays. Academic programming, majority of it is complete. We do have a little bit of academic programming offering here in July and part of August. Community items, parades, we had our school float in the Earhart 4th of July and the Pelican Fest, so thank you to the staff and our students who participated in the float on those 2 events. Couple Rotary items, had the turkey barbecue, had a good showing there. We served over 750 people there, so that was good. We have the peach sales and the fly-in breakfast coming up. Peach sales is over the August 1st and 2nd, and the fly-in breakfast is August 3rd. The Dr. Richardson OMP golf tourney is August 3rd. I believe the start time is at 3 o'clock. Those times, that time has changed here a little bit. So, Housing Steering Committee, I'm part of that. That's with members of the city administration, staff, and some community members, and that's just to look at what housing is needed. They had a survey that went out, and then planning ahead to see what we would like to do with help building, fix up, or tear down rentals or homes. Been good meetings, good discussion, good progress. Preschool Head Start, midday transportation, just a reminder that we're gonna offer that here starting this fall to our preschool and Head Start programming. That's for midday transportation. Right now that's looking at daycare centers only within a 2-mile radius of the city of Pelican Rapids, and possibly looking at some, depending on the amount of kids who signs up, if there's a spot where the majority of them live, we might have like a designated spot where they can be picked up and dropped off other than daycare centers. Drop-off lane update, just quick update. Last I heard is that the expected time frame for completion of the drop-off lane here is going to be late August. The good news is should be done before the start of school. Professional development, a few items for administration. We have a finance workshop here in July and August that we're attending. MSBA summer conference, be attending that in early August. And then our admin team will have some training here in August regarding a few different topics too that they're interested in, so which is good. Update on long range plan. I've had good discussions with area superintendents and leaders that have been good, productive. Discussions on their process that they used, what businesses, organizations they used, and then recommendations or input that they had for us. So then I went out and started talking to the organizations, businesses, and have talked to right now, I believe 4, and there's 2 that have come up that we're going to meet here next week and the week after. And then through these discussions, they've also kind of talked about like a demographic study, things like that. So we're looking into that, what that would look like, which has all been good. So that's long range plan update. School board agenda items. Got a couple resignations, one for special ed para, Cindy Hart. And we want to thank Ms. Hart for all her work at Viking Elementary School. Mr. Gollingsrud is a junior high football coach. Resignation, I want to thank Mr. Gollingsrud for his years of service of coaching junior high football. Approved the hire of Anneli Franco as an ELL paraprofessional at the high school. The hire of Amy Hybe as the head dance coach and then assistant. We're going to split the position, so it's part-time each one. There's 2 coaches, a head and assistant. The assistant's going to be split. Recommendation is to hire Hope Beachy and Emily Ditch. And they would split that position. They would be there 2 to 3 times a week, and they would work that out. So the head coach would be there, assistants would be there, and they would all work out a schedule. So there's always 2 coaches there. Also approved the hire of Mr. Lindbergh as assistant baseball coach and junior high football coach. A couple other items, just change of dates just because of conflicts to November 13th and to December 16th. And then under business items, B, the election of, we're looking for 1 board member to volunteer their time for the Ottertail Family Services Collaborative Governing Board. It would be a meeting that would be once a year. Focus would be to set policy and budget. That's all I have.
Any questions? Okay, move on to consent items. Item A will be approved board meeting minutes, June 12th, 2024, regular school board meeting, financial claims and June bills. C, treasurer's report. D, accept donations. So we have student accounts, $100, Laura Clinic. Viking Boutique, $100, Laura Clinic. Girls Golf, $60, Bell Bank. Elementary art supplies, $100, Alpha Delta Kappa Sorority, Inc. And we have Rex and Linda Haugen Scholarship Fund, $200, Wade and Judy Johnson. Item E, personnel, approve the resignation of Cindy Hart as special education paraprofessional at Viking Elementary. Approve the resignation of John Gollingsrud as junior high football coach at the high school. Approve the hire of Anneli Franco as ELL paraprofessional at the high school. Approve the hire of Amy Hybe as head dance coach. Approve the hire of Hope Beachy as assistant dance coach, .5. Approve the hire of Emily Ditch as assistant dance coach, .5. Approve the hire of Jan Eric Lindbergh as assistant baseball coach and junior high football coach. F, we moved. And G, approve the membership renewal of Minnesota Rural Education Association, or MREA, for 2024-2025. Item H, approve the audit engagement letter with Ide Bailey for the 23-24 edition. approve the change of the November school board meeting to November 13th, 2024. Approve the change of the December school board meeting to December 16th, 2024. Okay, business items. Do we have a motion for the consent items?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items.
Motion by Brenda, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Any discussion on the consent items? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the consent items signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Consent carries. New business items, approve the 24 to 25 designations. We have a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Ann. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Any discussion on designations?
Yes, can I ask some questions? Thanks, Mr. Martinez, for all the, information. Question on just the student activity, and the letting students, like giving all students a pass for, to attend games. And I know the, and activities, I know the, free and reduced, the incentive for that. But what if that incentive was for families or for parents, but we gave all students, so it wasn't a barrier for students to come to events? And I just say that because I've been at the front door a few times when, parents didn't turn in the form, students didn't have the pass, and they didn't have the $3 to come in, so they turned around and left.
Any thoughts on that? Mr. Martinez, Mr. Porter?
Yeah, I would say, it's that particular situation, it's sad that the student had walked away, but I would just tell the student, go right in, like, you're fine. We won't turn a student down, so, sad that that particular student felt that they couldn't go in. That's not the message that we want to put out as a school district. We do give the entire household a pass. It is a barrier because if the student forgets it, you play kind of that trust game. Do you have a free pass or not? If they lose it, I think it's pretty easy for us to reprint it and give it to them. Giving the entire student body free admissions, we definitely want participation to increase. We want people to be at our games, home games, away games. The admission revenue that you guys saw it's not much, but it does bring in a little bit. I personally don't have an issue with it, giving students access to our games. But I am concerned that if we say all students, get in for free, then we lose the leverage to try to collect some of those lunch applications. So I'm a little bit cautious trying to balance to see, okay, what as a board, what would be my best indication to you guys? I think we wanna, if there's a way where we can incentivize students to get something out of it, right? For families, we want them to turn the lunch application because it helps us collect more revenue, and then we give that entire household a free activity pass. And hopefully there's a way that we can try to digitize it, maybe because kids nowadays, their phone is their life, so maybe so they don't lose it, we try to digitize it and give it to them in as a shape or form, that it's accessible on their phone. And I don't know, I think we can say like students in the honor rolls get it too. Well, I don't know, we need some incentive to increase that participation. But I would be a little cautious to say, boom, everyone gets it. I think we need to have, as a board, something out of it. You know, I know that sounds a little weird to say, but it has to be like a positive hook, right? What can we get out of it? We want the lunch application, but let's do something else with it before we say, you know, all students get a free admission pass. If you don't qualify or turn in that form, you know, something fun for the district to collect them.
I just gotta clear one thing up. It's not the entire household that gets a free pass, it's the students that get the free pass.
That
was my
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Parents don't get a free pass. So I just wanted to make sure that's clear. I think this is a question that we should bring to the finance committee, but we should also involve the activities director in this discussion, because we wanna, see what his view of it is. I know there's concern about kids when they do come, that they do have a parent that comes with them if they're under the age of 7th grade. Sometimes what happens at events, we become a babysitting service, you know, for our supervisors, and it gets stressful, things like that, and then things happen, then they're putting out the fires, we have young kids there, and we gotta contact parents because they're not there, so there's those concerns there. It's not a bad idea, we want kids to come, I think we're all on the same page here, it's just how do we make that work?
Yeah, or is it just the the 7th or 12th, all students get the activity pass, and then the parents, if they turn in the form, but then elementary, maybe it is the whole family, they fill it, you know. Just looking at, this just was my questions and thoughts, just looking at what it actually brings in and where we're sitting, you know, and the fund balance is okay, and so does that offset bringing in? And I know that student, I did throw in $3 for them to come in. I didn't send them off. But I don't know that that's like the message on, you know, for all people who are taking in tickets or things, so.
Yeah, I don't wanna see anybody turned away, but.
I don't think it's something we should like announce either, though. You know, like, okay, just go, you don't have to pay. I mean, I feel that we have to have something for that form. It's a vital piece of information that we need to get back. And personally, I don't get why people do not fill out the form. And like when we have back to school night and things, I don't know if that would help if we like sit down with people and like take the time and fill it out. I mean, I don't know,
Wrestled with this for 2 years with that form, and that revenue benefits, you know, probably more students than.
Or other incentives.
So we have a committee that is focused on one administrative assistant in each building that helps collect them. So we meet and we have a spreadsheet of who are we looking for to get these from. I believe we're over 90% that return them. And some families, we're okay if family says, you know what, I'm not turning it in, but here's my form. We count that because of their philosophy on it. So we work with families too on that.
And I know, like, before, for me, like, I don't know how many years ago, I would just never fill it out just because I'm like, well, I know I'm not gonna qualify. And I think there's still people out there like that. It's like, well, I'm not gonna fill it out, but it's like, you just, you know, how do we get the importance out there that it doesn't matter if you qualify or not, we still need that form back.
And remind me if I'm correct me, Emily, but I believe that when you turn in the form, because we haven't done the guidance to see if you qualify or not, we give out the activity ticket no matter what, whether you qualify or not. So, you know, we want to push this out with the marketing team and the admin team and say, turn it in, you know, let's get you that admission ticket.
A parent can leave it completely blank and sign it, and that counts as turning it in.
But you said 90% return.
It was over 90%.
That's awesome.
Because what they do at each building,
Yeah.
each rep, and it's very confidential, it's just 3 of us, one in each building, and myself, and then Mr. Martinez, so there's 4 of us, but we all have access to the data, because what we're trying to do is collect from every family. So, they do it every fall, so August and September it's very busy with things like that.
I'll just, thanks for bringing it to to further discussion, because I just think too, like, what a message, like, all our high school students are welcome and, to come in.
Anything else on designations?
Yeah, the other piece that I just, and I know, MSBA has a recommendation for, whether our youth representatives, get a stipend. And they did say, you know, it's a local decision. So just considering what, cause our youth, I know, in my conversations, like, sometimes they give up work to be here at these meetings, which is giving up income. And if we as adults are approving, a stipend, what could we offer in return for our youth who are participating in our meetings? So, was there a reason why MSBA doesn't recommend offering a stipend?
I do not know.
I think, sorry to intervene,
No,
but
you're
I
good.
think the concept is, if you do this, then you walk your very in line, because then all the other students that participate in other activities that is not, at a board meeting could potentially say, I'm also giving up time. We could fall into what the NCAA is currently under fire for, where athletes are saying, well, you profit off of me, so I need revenue for participation. And, what's to say that now the student says, I'm giving up work to be in your sport, I also want to be compensated for that. I did like one of the bullet points that MASB shared, one of the comments, which was they give them an educational credit.
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't know what would be the process for that.
Or even a scholarship, like, could there be a scholarship for those who?
They do have opportunity for $3,000 scholarship.
From the district?
No,
From
MSB.
MSBA.
Oh, right, yeah, but I'm saying the district,
Well,
like, that was,
that's highway,
so.
there's 60-some applicants.
Right,
Yeah,
that's-
state. That's something the administration could maybe chew on a little bit, maybe bring up to a.
How do we raise the funds for that scholarship if we did a local one? What would we,
Probably maybe, just like we do the other ones, advertising that way, or?
yeah, for some leadership roles that
Yeah.
people wanna, yeah?
I just personally don't agree with that due to the fact that, they can apply, but there's only one person. And we basically pick that person, or the administration picks that person to be a representative. So, you know what I mean, where, they wanted to be on the board, they applied to be on the board. We selected that person, but we didn't select the other 10 people that applied and wanted to be on it. And we're only gonna give the scholarship to the one person that we selected.
Yeah, it's kind of like us though, we applied because we wanted to be on it, and we were selected through a vote, or, so, that's just the word, cause I agree, like, then we, who's left out, or who's unintentionally impacted, but.
I think it does help them qualify for scholarships though, because it's showing leadership in the district. And they do have opportunity to apply for any scholarship as well, so, there is that opportunity already.
It's another item for the finance committee though to discuss, you know? Is this something that'd be good?
Come up with some ideas.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate the discussion, I just wanted to, so I appreciate the perspectives.
Anything else?
Can Ally come back and give that scholarship then if he sent one out? That'd be the question.
Oh.
Former
Yeah.
student school board.
Well, and maybe even just, I was hoping that somebody, I know Ellie's retired now, but, just to ask them what their thoughts are on it.
I don't think there's a lot of interest in the position, that's the thing, right? We kind of seek these people out, it's not like we're getting applications, so
Yeah.
is there some way we can make it attractive
Yeah.
for them to come and put in the time? Cause
Yeah.
it is time consuming and they have a lot of them in play already, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're finding that with the setting up the nonprofit and getting youth cause they're so busy, so they have to give up work to be, then we do have some grants to pay them to participate.
Anything else? Okay. So we have a motion and a second on the table, let's keep the designations as is for now. I understand.
Can we change if we learn learn something else or decide differently? Okay.
Yeah, in the future.
Come back and.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Ready, any more discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the 24-25 designation signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same. Motion carries. Item B, approve the election of one volunteer board member to serve on Ottertail County Family Services Collaborative Governing Board. So I've heard from Brenda and I've heard from Stacy. Anybody interested in how we would do that?
You, Brenda, if you go ahead. I didn't know if anyone else was interested, so I
You go
just.
ahead.
I volunteered.
So I'll just sit here and wait for a motion then.
No, really, Brenda, that you go. So I'll make a motion for Brenda to serve on the Ottertail Family Services Collaborative Governing Board. I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Stacy, second by Ann, for Brenda to be appointed to the board. They can be able to send their information when we get it. Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving Brenda's appointment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries. So we moved F, and that'll be number C. Approve the membership renewal with Minnesota School Boards Association, MSBA, for 24 to 25. So we have a motion and a second for the renewal.
Make that motion.
Motion by Ann, second by Brenda. Any discussion on that? I will be abstaining from this vote, so anyway. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the MSBA renewal signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. And it carries. And then item K will be item D, so approve the Lakes Country Service Cooperative Membership Agreement for fiscal year 25. I'll be abstaining from that.
And I'll be abstaining.
We have a motion and a second.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brenda, second.
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Carries. All right, upcoming meetings, we have the August 5th MSBA Summer Seminar, so if anybody's interested in that, get on with the family. And we have the August 21st regular meeting at 7 a.m. So I have a conflict. I'm not gonna be able to make that the way it looks. So we can either reschedule it if we think we need to, otherwise I don't think I'm in there, so.
I won't be here either.
We better reschedule this if there's another one.
Okay. How does, Monday, 19th look? Is that acceptable or? Okay. You won't be here?
I'm in Hawaii that week, so.
Oh.
Shucks.
Okay.
And I'm not
They're
sure
Zoom,
Zoom,
right?
sorry.
Oh.
Sure you don't
Thanks,
wanna
Molly.
zoom in?
Sorry.
Blame you. So,
So it's
week before is a conflict for you?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a conflict for you. The week before, so.
Yeah, Ben, do you have dates that might work for you guys?
The 19th works, just don't push it to the following week, please.
Yeah.
That's workshop week, so.
Workshop week.
And I'm fine with you guys doing one on all two, as long as you have a quorum.
I'm
Unless
done
we
the week
go-
before too, so.
Unless we go to UD, the
Yeah.
following, the following week, workshop week, UD.
Oh, and I'll be home that day in the evening. I think I just fly in that morning. We did the same day.
The 21st.
Yeah.
Keep it the 21st and then.
If you just do that day.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. That works. If I'm not recovered by then. I'll do my best to be here.
Are you having a procedure? Then you should, you better move it.
Oh, yeah. I was like, right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
As long as
28th.
What about the 20th? That's Thursday.
Thursday, the 22nd is a Thursday.
Second to Thursday.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes. How about the 22nd?
22nd works for me.
I won't be here.
Are you out there sitting?
I'm out that Thursday and Friday. So, did you say the 28th in the evening? No, okay.
That's our open houses.
Yep, okay,
We could do it, principals would not be here,
yeah. Well,
but I think
if it's open
we should have
houses,
them here because of just handbook stuff.
So we have the week of August 5th. What's Wednesday is the 7th. Got something, or is that too soon?
Later that week, if you go that week, later the better, just because of 5th is MSBA. I'll be back the 6th, 7th, 8th, be a possibility. We just would have to get, what would be hard is the handbooks, because our admin assistants don't get back until following week.
There's only one of us gone on the 19th and 20th, or are there multiple people gone? Molly. But Molly's back on that.
22nd.
I can meet in the morning on the 22nd. Yep.
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 Does that work? You have a morning on the 22nd?
Yeah, we have new teacher workshop, but we'll make it work. 7 AM should be good, because we wouldn't start new teacher workshop till 8. For principals, we'll just do reports and then go.
Okay, so I think we've come to a consensus of the 22nd in the morning. Okay. Then somebody wanna make that motion?
Can I do the motion? Meeting?
No.
We did the other ones for only special
Well, yeah.
I'll make a motion.
We did the other one.
To
Okay.
move meeting
Just to be clean.
August 22nd at 7 AM.
A second.
Motion by Ann, second by Brenda. Any discussion on the meeting date change? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the meeting change, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Carries. Now we have regular meeting, 6 o'clock on